What type of technology stack does your team use as a Scrum Master? Can you talk about CI and CD? And can you tell me some of the different software your front end and your back end developer use while you were working with them? This is kind of getting technical, right? But that's Scrum for you. Hello, welcome to the Scrum chat room with Dr. Francis Mbunya. If you're new here, hit the subscribe button. Don't forget to hit the like button, and don't forget to also hit the notification button. And that way, you are going to be the first to be notified anytime I put a video up. And when you hit the like button, it also helps to notify other people that might be looking for some videos, which we're putting in a lot of time to make sure that you get the best. And today we're going to be technical with our Scrum interviews. Since the interviewers have decided to go more technical, we are also going to crack in the code, right, so that you know exactly what to do or what to say when the interviewer gets technical. But before we go ahead, a couple of ground rules. If you look in the description, there's quite some link to resources that are going to help you a lot. One of which I'm going to recommend today are going to be my 150 plus question I've put together all together that can help you actually go a milestone on your interview. But I'm also going to say that sincerely, just question and answer might not really be what is going to get you there, especially if you don't have so much background in leadership. So you might need to get someone that we be able to walk you through the practical environment, show you what is what for you to get understand. But then that's not our focus for today. Let's get down to the real question for today. Sometimes interviews are going very technical today, and you might be asked the question, what type of technology stack does your team use in your most recent job? What type of technology stack was your team using? And if you're not used to this term, you might like, okay, what does it mean? This is something that you don't get to learn from the Scrum framework or from the Scrum guide. So this is stuff that you can only learn them if you've been in a real environment, which is why we always recommend get someone to coach you that is from a real environment. All right, when we talk about technology stack, what is happening is that if you're working as a Scrum Master, you are working with a team of developers, right? And the team is building a product. Okay, you're working with a team of developers and they're building a specific product. So don't confuse, as a Scrum Master, you don't work for an organization, you do one project here, you do another project here. No, you are dedicated to a team of developers building a product. So if you're dedicated to a team of developers building a product, then what product were they building? That's where your case study is very important. I think I've spoken about case studies time and for again, but it's very important you have a case study. So if you've been working as a team, what is the solution that your team was building? Now, let's take a practical example. I'm working with a team, and my team is building an application both on Android and on iOS, and both an interface that is going to help enterprise that have co-located team to be able to find specific flexible workspaces, which means that if you want your team to come together only on a Friday, you can go on that app and able to look for a flexible space provider and book space only for Friday, maybe for 3 hours, where your team maybe have their week every other 2 weeks, where they have maybe their review. You want everybody to be on the same spot. And if you have a team maybe in New York, another team in California, another team in India, you can kind of get them be together when you're doing reviews. In that case, it's kind of a lot of collaboration, and you're also going to ensure that a lot of people can be there. Since you've planned for people to come together, there can be so much more of a face-to-face interaction. That's kind of helping bonding and helping staff know themselves, each other. So that is the interface, or that's the application your team is building. Now, that is your case study. In your case, it might be different, right? Your team might be working maybe on just data migration, a lot of government project now, or a lot of companies now are trying to use the AWS system to do data migration from most of the hardware into a cloud system. Your team might also be doing that. That is going to require a different environment or different technology stack. But what is important for you to understand when we're talking about technology stack or your team is using. Now, when you're working on a project, you need to know if you have both front end and back end developers, or you have data analysts, or you have testers and all of that. It depends on the project that you're working. Not all projects have both front end and back end developers, and not all projects are going to have tester or data analysts or so. I'm going to give you a typical example. Some of my mentees who are working as Scrum Master, they work in a bank environment, and as a Scrum Master, they don't really have a full development team as you will have in a typical Scrum environment. It's just themselves, the product owner, and then they work with more of external developers. In that case, their job as a Scrum Master is to basically monitor the progress of the activities that's going on with the external developer, and that's more about it. And this get to give you the flexibility of a Scrum environment. Sometimes when you get into an interview, like, what type of technology stack does your team use, and you go blank. Now, it's because you don't understand your environment. If you say you've been working as a Scrum Master within a bank environment, what project were you working on? Did the project have a full development team, or were they contracting developers and you were just there to facilitate the process on how it goes from ready for development to done? Now, if you are working in a team like my team, where we're building both Android application, iOS application, web interface that are going to help enterprise be able to find flexible spaces, then we must have the front end and the back end. Now we'll talk about front end developers. Front end developers are those who kind of work most closely to the user interface, how it look at outside. But then a whole lot of stuff, since we're talking about building stuff from scratch, are going to be more or less coded and more do design. If you kind of get into a building, right, if you want to kind of build a house, there is someone that kind of draw a plan and draw how all of those stuff are going to look like, right? The core architect. That's what like the back end developer they do. The back end developer kind of write the code on how they want the front end to appear, or how they want the front end to look like. But the person that's drawing the plan and every stuff might not really be an expert in building. Their goal is just to put on the code and know how to kind of connect all the dots. That's the work of the back end developer. Now the front end know how to bring it to life. The front end in the build, if we're talking about a building project, the front end are going to be like the builder, the electricians, and all of that. So in any software environment, or most of the software environment, we have the front end and the back end. Now the front end have their own technology stack they use, like the different environment they build or they use in getting their work done. The back end have. Now the simplest you should know, if you ask in an interview, you're not supposed to really get technical, but what happens is that you need to be able to convince your interviewer that you know exactly what you're saying. Okay, example for the front end, JavaScript is one of the environment they use, CSS and HTML, right? Those are some of the common technology stack that your front-end developer might be using. So you pay attention to that. You might look for JavaScript, you might look for CSS, you might look for HTML. Those are some of the technology stack that the front-end use. When you go to the back-end, now you can start talking about SQL, and you talk also about Java. Those are some of the technology stack they use. Now, it's just enough to know this. You don't need to go in detail knowing all of that. If you want to read more, you can go ahead and read more. But I'm just giving you what they want to know is like, that's just about testing about your practicality knowledge. Because if you know only about Scrum and you have never been in the environment, You will not even know something exists as front-end developers or back-end developer. You will not know if your team need tester or they need tester and QA and all of that. You will not know if they need that, right? So some of those questions come in just to throw a bit about how practical you are about that. Now, another question that has been coming up very frequently is about CI and CD, continuous integration and continuous deployment. And I'm going to talk about that in our next video that's coming up on Friday. So I'll talk about CI and CD, which is about DevOps. I'll talk about DevOps and the role of a Scrum Master in DevOps. I'm going to talk about that in our next video that's coming up on Friday. Look up for that video. For the meantime, don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to hit the like button, and I'll see you on Friday for another video. All right. Lately, I've been a bit consistent about putting out videos, but then the schedule for me putting out videos are mostly Mondays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. And then I may do impromptu question and answers, and I may also share other video as needed within those days. But officially, if you kind of checking out the days I'm putting out video, look up on the Monday, and the time I'm putting on my videos are going to be around midday Central Time USA, or Eastern Time USA. Central Time USA is about 11 a.m. and then the Eastern Time Zone is going to be somewhere around 12 midday. And for most of my friends following from the UK, it's going to be somewhere around 5 p.m. your time, depending on time zone. And for other people in the Asia, I think it's going to be close to about 10:30 p.m. your time. So those are kind of the different time zone. But then if you really need RE coaching, want to get into that environment, understand how to implement, not just say this, but how it actually works in a RE environment, get opportunity to see how a RE project look like. That is the experience we're offering those who choose or want to dare to work with us. Our environment is definitely very fast. So if you really want to be very fast, you're welcome. Check the link below. You're going to see what it takes to join my coaching team and be coached by me. And then if you're interested and you think that this is what you need, we can get together and we can get rolling. But don't forget, the whole system is about continuous learning, and what you need to succeed as a Scrum Master is not question and answer. You need to be able to evaluate the ability of learning. How much have you learned? What is needed? What are you missing? So if you're needing someone that you might just have a question, you call them, or they send you, a recruiter send you a couple of questions, you send it to them, can you answer for me? That is definitely not going to help you, because even if I answer for you, if you go to the RE interview, you will not know what to say, right? So it will not really help you. So it's time enough we really get in and do the work that we're supposed to do, which is about learning. It might take you 6 months, it might take you a year, but if you continuously learn, you become a master of it. And look, it's a whole real reward. Even if you want to start a master program now, which might take you 2 years and a lot of money, it's nothing compared to you putting in the time, learning how to be an effective Scrum Master, getting the practice and becoming it, right? That's 6 figures we're talking about. And most of those who are even doctorate don't make that, right? To be very frank, don't even make that. Those who are having teaching positions in the university as lecturer with doctorate don't make what Scrum Master make. So it's time enough for anyone that want to get into this journey to get serious with what they're doing and to really get into more some of the work. All right, that's enough for today. Friday, we talk about CI/CD, and then DevOps. I'll see you then.